Hello, hello. So I'm Aricela Sandoval. I am a VTuber. I have lived for thousands of years and I just now decided to return. So, a little bit about me. I lost track of how old I am. I stopped counting at some point during my travels. I am a traveler. I have traveled all around the world and even a little bit outside of it. For my Oshi mark, I always use a compass and a tent. Those are the two things that are always with me no matter where I am. Just look at my necklace, it is literally a compass. And a tent for you never know where you're gonna wind up, so you might as well enjoy it like a nice campfire night. I speak English and Spanish. I studied Spanish in university. I had a lot of fun. I met plenty of people, and I have read books in Spanish. I have written in Spanish. I have talked in Spanish. I even did Spanish tutoring for a long time during my university years. Same with English. So I can speak Spanish. I don't really like to because I sound like I am from the 19th century. I don't really sound casual at all. I speak very formally, and I think some of it is because I read so many books. A few likes of mine. I love anime, of course, like every other VTuber. I read a lot of books. I love JRPGs. I know they don't get a lot of views, but that's okay. I enjoy them anyway because they're super fun for me, and I love the stories that they tell. Even if they're not great, I still like to see them anyway. A hidden passion for me is music history. I really enjoy studying composers from other centuries like Bach, of course, and then, you know, the well-known ones from the Romantic era like Korsakov and Tchaikovsky, and, you know, of course, the greats, Wagner, but also 20th century like Philip Glass, Steve Reich, and there's a couple of others that I really enjoyed. Claude Debussy also is a very famous one from the 20th century, and Igor Stravinsky, who is my personal favorite. I like sweets. I actually prefer sour over sweet. And lastly, I love milk tea, but it does not like me. I am lactose intolerant. I am very lactose intolerant, actually, which is unfortunate. Okay, moving on. A few dislikes. I don't like tardiness. It drives me insane when people are like 20 minutes late and they have no excuse other than, oh, sorry, I was late. Okay. So next up, black licorice. I don't like the way black licorice tastes. I think it tastes disgusting. I don't like anise at all. anytime it's in any pastry, I'm like, what the fuck is in here? And I am always extremely sad when I find out it's anise. Cauliflower. I don't like cauliflower too much. Not my favorite. If I had to pick any other vegetable, I'd rather eat broccoli or even Brussels sprouts. I just despise cauliflower. I hate opera. I really don't like opera. Anytime I have to listen to opera, I just snooze. When I studied it in university, I slept through that entire unit. Moving on. Let's see. Favorite anime. Frieren, like every other person who has watched anime in the last year. I read the manga. I first read it when I was getting translated. I thought it was super good. I'm so happy it got the adaptation it deserved from Madhouse. I was actually very nervous about the Madhouse adaptation, but I'm so glad that it turned out as good as it did. Trigun Stampede. A lot of people get thrown off by the 3D aspect. I think it is totally worth it, especially because Studio Orange has just put in so much work, and especially the English dub with Johnny Young Bosch. He did such a good job as Bash again. That was his first role, so he got to reprise this role. I'm very happy for him. I love all his work, honestly. Princess Tutu, old but good. I love the ballet, and I also, of course, love the not classical, sorry, orchestral music. It's a pet peeve of mine when people say classical and they're like, oh yeah, I love classical. I love listening to Tchaikovsky. Okay, that ain't classical though. Classical is my brain. Mozart? Yeah. Mozart's the bridge between Baroque and classical. Anyway, Revolutionary Girl Utena. Very fun. Allegorist. You don't like it? Yeah, you don't like it. I enjoyed it, but I also was watching it over a period of few days, so it wasn't too bad. But if you're binging it, I think it is harder to like. Sukiga Kire. Very cute romance. It's puppy love. One of my favorites. 91 Days. It's a historical anime. It takes place during the Prohibition era in the United States. And they also gave all of the characters kind of like that old Midwestern accent. So it's pretty good. It's a little bit off-putting at first, but once you get used to it, it's really worth it. It's worth the watch. It's only 12 episodes, I think. Great Pretender. Very colorful. I love big band soundtracks. I am weak for it. They do such a good job with it. I think they came out with another season. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I really liked season 1. Season 2, not as much, but I like heist anime, so I don't care. Summertime Render, another mystery. Supernatural this time. Arguably one of the best anime I have seen in recent years. I'm so glad I gave it a chance. I originally wasn't going to, but some of my friends were watching at the time, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give this a shot. So, here I am. Sorry. Yawn. Okay. And a few more that I won't really get into. Horimiya, Kimi ni Todoke, Log Horizon, Skip and Loafer, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Violet Evergarden, and anything by Makoto Shinkai. Log Horizon specifically I want to mention right now because that was the anime that got me into 1, light novels, and 2, into MMOs. It's like pretty much the entire reason why I started FF14. Alright. Manga, free run of course. Yona of the Dawn or Akatsuki no Yona. I actually read this after finishing the anime and then realized that there was a whole lot more. It's about 200 chapters and still going. It's long. It's a commitment. Last game, rom-com. I don't really remember much about it. I just remember liking it. I binge read it over the course of like 2 days, so yay. Oshinoko, I picked up when I was first getting translated. Dropped it because there wasn't enough chapters, and sometimes I'll just get really busy and forget about it manga for a while. And the anime came out, watched the anime, and then continued the manga from where the anime left off. And I really liked it. I read the recent arc. I did indeed read it. That's all I'm gonna say. Apothecary Diaries, I actually read it during volume 3 era, I think. Very good. My boyfriend recommended it to me. I was so happy he did. It's so good. It's one of my favorites. I hope it gets a season 2. Spy Family, love the manga. I feel like it's very generic. I like shonen. It's kind of my guilty pleasure, but there's a lot that I actually won't like either, so I'm very hard to please with shonen. Shirayuki. It's on hiatus right now, but it's still a very good manga. It kind of falls off a little bit, so I hope that the hiatus does it some good. Special A. It's okay. It's a product of its time. It's very good, but it also has its flaws, and it shows its age a little bit. It was one of my first manga, and one of my first anime too. So, favorite literature. Cemetery of Forgotten Books by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. The first book being Shadow of the Wind. Very good series, takes place during the Spanish Civil War in Barcelona, Spain. If you don't know anything about that era, I would definitely Google it before you get into this series, so that way you know what you're getting into. It takes place in the 1930s-ish, so some of the values that are in that book are shown. This book was published in like 2001, so it's not quite a product of its time, but it is setting the tone for the time period and the values and the ideals and the political theater that was there at the time. The Tapestry. Yeah, Tapestry by Henry H. Neff, I think. Very good series. Combines Nordic and Celtic mythology with kind of Harry Potter. It's very good. Each of the books gets a little bit longer and thicker, so like the last book is like 700 pages. Definitely worth the read. It's easy, it's quick, in parentheses quick. It will take you a while just because there's so much happening, but I definitely recommend it. It's not very well known. I think it was kind of slept on, so it makes me very sad. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I actually originally thought that this was going to be a romance, but I was actually quite surprised that it really wasn't. It was more about like a friendship that doesn't quite stand the test of time. And if you are a creator of any kind, if you've done game dev, or if you're a musician, or even just like close with a work group, you will probably relate to it in some capacity. Because, you know, friendships just kind of come and go. They fall apart, they come back together, and then they fall apart again. Or they're just left forgotten. So, yeah. Next up, Legend Trilogy by Marie Lu. Very good. It's like the mid-2010s era young adults craze. It's one of my favorites. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I do think that it's easier than marketed to read. I don't really know what young adult is. I think it's like 18-year-old, so I think it falls there. Some of my favorite music, NMY, they did Chrono Divinity for the OSU Roundtable. I think it was quarterfinals. It was a tiebreaker, and it wasn't used, which was a little bit sad, but it's okay. It's still my favorite. Kikuo is very good, in my opinion. Kikuo's music is very avant-garde, very different, so I enjoy it a lot. Ado's goated with the sauce. I like her voice. I like what she can do. The very wide range that she has is very cool. Can do that whispery tone, but makes it sound powerful, which is very hard to execute well. Giga P, Deco 27, Camu Shaiki, Canaria, I love all of them. They're all goated. My personal favorite is probably Kimu, I don't know. XI, who did Freedom Dive and Blue Zenith. You'll hear it in practically every rhythm game, so yeah, it ain't easy. Polyphia, Playing God. I like how Polyphia uses kind of more complex rhythms, more complex chords. I think it's really cool. There's a lot to listen to and a lot to look for in the music as well, if you can find it. Next up for games, Persona, obviously JRPGs. I played through Reload, I played through Golden, and I also played through the original Persona 5 and Royal. I play a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. That is what I consider my main game. I finished MSQ toward the end of Eden's Verse, and I started raiding during Eden's Promise. And my first ultimate was Uka, but the first one I finished was Uwu. And I think doing ultimates is maybe a better player. I'm so grateful for it, but at the same time, you know, it kind of has its struggles. Next up, Celeste. I did Celeste Farewell. Also, I have never felt happier finishing a game. It was so hard for me. I had a lot of trouble with Farewell, obviously. It's kind of a massive skill check. So yeah, I also did the B-sides. So do I regret it? Not really, but it just took a lot of time. Ni no Kuni, it's cozy. I like it. JRPG. Not much more to say. Pokemon, I have played Pokemon since Pokemon Diamond. The only one I haven't played is probably Sword and Shield. I have played every other. I recently picked up Pokemon Legends Arceus, and I have enjoyed it a lot. It's very fun. Ori, I haven't played through the second game. I was terrible at the platforming, but it's okay. I still enjoyed it. Drakengard, I have watched playthroughs of Drakengard 1, 2, and 3. I don't care for the combat. That's why I didn't play it. And I also just didn't feel like emulating at the time. I have played Nier Replicant, and I played through Nier Automata too. I really enjoyed them both. I did enjoy Replicant more than Automata though, but that's just me. I enjoyed Replicant's music a lot more too. That's not to say it's bad. No. I just enjoyed it more. I like kind of that folksy style. All right. So this is kind of the model showcase. All right. So this is kind of the model showcase. Yeah, it's based off of a sunset since I only appear at sunsets. Also very heavily inspired by Mexican culture, as you can see with the ribbons and the braids, as well as kind of the design on the shirt and also the skirt silhouette. Let's see. I'm gonna zoom in. I have this awesome toggle since I enjoy drinking coffee. Tears for when I'm very sad and party finder. Eyes. This was it in my favorite games section, but I absolutely adore Honkai Star Rail HSR. I am not very good at it, but that's okay. I still enjoy it anyway. For when something good happens. Star Eyes, my favorite. And last but not least, a blush. So, gonna keep on the coffee for this last section. Future plans. So, my future plans are to make videos about Final Fantasy XIV rating, as I'm sure that there haven't been enough already, but kind of lessons I've learned, my own experiences, what it's like as a very not high-end raider, kind of middle in the pack. I am not like a world first progger or anything. I am not casual either. I am just kind of there. Make videos about games I enjoy from time to time, I guess. I don't really like streaming JRPGs since I tend to get very quiet while I play. I focus a lot, and I really don't like when people talk during cutscenes. So I just want to play the game and talk about it afterwards. It's kind of like when people talk through movies. It's my pet peeve for some reason, but that's okay. And I also want to attempt to talk to people. I don't like talking to people ever, so that is something I want to get better about. Okay, my model was done by Kiri Tanewa and my rig by Toto Chomp. They were both amazing souls. I loved working with them. Rest of the credits, design, Koherin. I enjoyed working with Koherin. They were very professional. I love their art, and I am so happy with the way they designed it. Designed the VTuber. The idol signature at the beginning was done by Kiri as well. And of course, panels, profile picture, all of this was done outside by commissions. And stream alerts, they were actually done by me. I did Children's March. I arranged them. Children's March by Percy Granger. King Louis, if you have owned a rice cooker, 90% chance you have heard this song. And Taylor the Calendar Prince by Rimsky-Korsakov, which was in Scheherazade. And last but not least, thank you guys so much for watching to the end. And I will see you around, whether it be Among the Stars in Honkai Star Rail, or in Eorzea in FF14, or any other place that is an MMO, or maybe any other gacha games that are coming between now and then. So I'll see you guys out there. Have a nice day.